Today, we're taking an incredibly deep, intense dive into the actual mechanics of mastering the human mind. We're going to deconstruct the uncompromising philosophy of David Goggins, a guy who has completely redefined what it means to push past the absolute limits of human endurance. We'll be looking directly at how you process adversity, how you handle suffering, and how you can take total command of your internal dialogue. So buckle up, because this isn't about finding some quick, easy fix. This is about total mental reconstruction. Okay, let's kick things off by establishing our foundational rule right out of the gate. Your brain is the most powerful weapon you possess. Think about that word for a second, weapon. Your mind isn't just some passive sponge that absorbs whatever happens to you. It's not just a casual observer. It is a highly active, incredibly potent weapon that you have to consciously wield. Because here's the thing, if you aren't pointing it at your obstacles, it's going to turn right around and point itself at your insecurities. Understanding this single shift in perspective, going from a passive brain to a weaponized mind, is literally the starting line for everything we're going to cover today.
So here's our battle plan for today. We're covering 4 main things. 1. The ultimate weapon. 2. The power of repetition. 3. Creating a new normal. And 4. The accountability truth. Let's get to work. Starting with part 1, the ultimate weapon, or taking command of your mind. Because right now, you really need to ask yourself who is actually sitting in the driver's seat of your life.
Look, you essentially have 2 options in life, and there's absolutely zero middle ground here. Option A, you actively tell your brain where you want to go and exactly how you're going to get there. Or option B, you just let your brain control you. When adversity hits, a brain left on autopilot is naturally going to look for the easiest way out. It'll flood you with excuses, doubts, and a million reasons to just quit. The source material argues that you absolutely must become the active commander of your mindset. You have to give your brain a direct order. You dictate the destination, and you force the mind to figure out the route, completely overriding its natural desire to just pack up and retreat.
Moving on to part 2, the power of repetition and the grind of hard work. Let's see how taking command actually translates into daily action. You know all those glamorous life hacks we're so used to hearing about today? Yeah, the source material completely strips all of that away and details a brutal personal journey of learning to study and train. It was literally just step 1, read, step 2, write, step 3, repeat. That was the exact, unrelenting method he used to basically force knowledge into his brain. There are no shortcuts here, guys. In fact, Goggins would write out entire textbooks multiple times just to memorize them. If the concepts didn't stick, you didn't go looking for an easier book or some quick audio summary. You went right back to step 1, read, write, repeat. It's this steady, rhythmic cadence of pure discipline. Mental toughness isn't something you inherit, it's forged through the mundane, brutal repetition of hard work until the obstacle finally gives way.
Which brings us to part 3, creating a new normal and reframing extreme physical pain. Now we're going to push this mental framework to the absolute extreme limits of human endurance.
To really understand this concept, we've got to look at the incredibly gritty reality of Navy SEAL training that's presented in the source. And hey, we aren't talking about a tough morning workout. We're talking about multiple hell weeks. We're talking about environments designed specifically to crush the human spirit, where the physical body is quite literally breaking down under the immense pressure. I mean, shin splints, stress fractures, sheer exhaustion. The body is sending every possible signal to the brain, screaming, "Stop, the warranty is void." Most minds would look at that physical destruction and totally agree that it's time to quit. But to survive something like this, the mind has to do something completely radical.
And here is the crucial turning point, how that suffering was completely redefined. A new normal is the psychological reframing of extreme physical pain and suffering into a baseline state. So instead of viewing the pain as this crazy anomaly or a totally valid reason to stop, you just accept it as the new everyday reality. You essentially tell your brain, hey, this isn't an emergency, this is just Tuesday. By moving the baseline of what is normal to actually include extreme suffering, the mind is able to persevere through seemingly impossible trials. It literally pulls the body along with it even after the body has failed. It's the ultimate triumph of the weaponized mind over physical reality.
Finally, we reach part 4, the accountability truth and finding true peace. This right here is the ultimate philosophical endgame of the entire explainer. Think about our modern world for a second. The default human setting is basically seeking comfort first, isn't it? We dodge difficult tasks, we avoid hard conversations, and we numb ourselves just to avoid facing our own shortcomings. It's this pervasive illusion we all live in. But on the absolute other end of the spectrum is facing personal accountability.
Now, this is a harsh, unyielding reality. It means looking directly at your own flaws, your failures, and the trials right in front of you, and owning them completely without pointing the finger at anybody else. It is incredibly uncomfortable for sure, but as our source reveals, it's actually the only path that leads anywhere meaningful.
Because here is the bottom line. True peace is found on the other side of personal accountability. Just let that sink in for a moment. I want you to think about this like looking directly into a mirror. When you face your own internal hell weeks, whatever those might be in your life, what is your default reaction? Do you prioritize comfort and retreat, or do you stand firm in the truth? True lasting peace doesn't come from having an easy life. It comes from the deep, quiet confidence of knowing you held yourself completely accountable, you faced your trials head-on, and you absolutely didn't quit.
So I'm going to leave you with this final question today, and I want you to be totally honest with yourself here. Are you just seeking comfort, or are you truly ready to face your trials? The blueprint is right in front of you. Your brain is a weapon, and it's time to take command. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Guys, take these uncompromising concepts, apply them directly to your own life, and I'll see you next time.